Thanks. What I want to do is give the reasons from Philip's point of view of why we support DLC, present some of the things we'd like to see change, which are also things we submit when there are opportunities to comment on the specs, and then maybe some concerns for the future. So I also wrote down that DLC helps in this time of Wild West, but I think too, after going to the Light Fair this week, the revolution is really over and we're in the evolution now. So the Wild West is kind of going away, I think, for LEDs. DLC gives a product a stamp of quality that is based on some independent evaluation and some standardized tests. Maybe the most important thing for the manufacturers is that it enables rebates, and it also makes it a lot easier for utilities to select which products they are going to put rebates on and apply a more standard process, and prevents us from having to make multiple SKUs for multiple different utility specs in different parts of the world, or parts of the country. We still have to make them for different parts of the world. To list some of the changes that we would like to see as a manufacturer, one of the things being proposed now is to add the tier structure, and that, in our opinion, has some effect of reducing the voice of the marketplace, that we're then designing products to meet a spec rather than designing products to meet what the customer is looking for. So there's risk in adding too many tiers and too much structure. The DLC is great in the sense of putting a lower limit, a minimum limit to keep the junk out of the market, but we'd rather not see a whole lot of structure above that. I wrote resist the desire to make ever tighter specs like the L90 at 36,000 hours. One approach that could be taken if really longer life is wanted and higher reliability is to go to luminaires where you can replace the light source, replace the electronics, and then the whole unit doesn't have to live for 50 or 100,000 hours. You can replace components as you go, the way we do with conventional lighting now. And it's kind of painful when you introduce a product and then it takes 2 years to get a new category, and just like to see a quicker way to be able to enable rebates in these new areas too. One other place where we have some trouble, it's not really so much an actual problem as a worried about problem, is the places where Energy Star and DLC overlap, like in the track and monopoint categories. There's the worry that one utility in one part of the country is going to require Energy Star, and in another part they're going to want DLC, and we'll have to test to both and maintain all that. Some longer-term concerns are more with the controls, the advent of controls and systems approach. It's a very complicated system. In the way California has done it, there's certainly a tendency to be overly prescriptive, and an approach that's too prescriptive will have the effect of shutting out certain options or creative approaches just because they weren't foreseen at the time the specs were made.